Do you think women understand what it's like to be a man?
Hell
Not
no.
at all. No clue. No idea.
Welcome back to TheChowTimePod. It's your host, Red. I got a videos today from Manosphere Highlights Daily. Our man, Red, Self-Made Man by Norah, Vincent. Proof. Women can't walk a mile in men's shoes. Please like and subscribe down below. I really appreciate that. Let's get that chow. Chow time.
Ever wondered what it's like to walk in someone else's shoes? Or in this case, someone else's boots? Today, we're diving into the extraordinary journey of Norah Vincent in Self-Made Man. As she brilliantly put it, and I quote, "I did it for my own sake, to get out of my own head," end quote. Welcome to Manosphere Highlights Daily and our breakdown of Self-Made Man by the incredible Norah Vincent.
But her views about men have changed forever.
Men are suffering. They have different problems than women have, but they don't have it better. They need our sympathy, they need our love, and they need each other more than anything else. They need to be together.
Now, I know she's no
I 100% agree. The camaraderie between men is so necessary for us to thrive. You can be alone. You don't have to be with a partner. But when you have good friends, good male friends, it makes all the difference in life.
longer with us, but her impactful work continues to resonate. In Self-Made Man, Vincent embarks on a remarkable journey wearing the guise of a man to unravel the mysteries of the male world. And let me tell you, it takes some serious balls, pun intended. Today, we're diving deep into this fascinating exploration. If you haven't heard about Norah Vincent's ABC special, you're missing out. It's must-watch material. And guess what? We're taking it a step further by diving into the book and uncovering some of its hidden gems. I highly recommend reading this book for yourself, as we only scratch the surface in this video. Norah Vincent, a journalist, brings her journalistic prowess to document this unique experience. But Self-Made Man is far from an objective account. Instead, it's a personal journey where Vincent's reflections take center stage, offering a deep dive into the challenges she faced, impacting her mental health along the way. Today, our focus is on the first two chapters, Getting Started and Friendship. We'll explore three key themes. 1. Distinct biological differences. 2. The unspoken code of conduct. 3. The brotherhood among men. Let's talk about it. We men ain't we? Yeah. We men ain't we? Yeah.
She.
Norah Vincent gives a detailed description of her transformation from Norah to Ned, which not only highlights distinct biological differences between men and women, but also the importance of masculinity and femininity in this experiment. Norah, being 5'10" and a man's size 11 in shoes, gave her an advantage in this experiment because the average height of women in the US is 5'4", and for men, 5'9". As you can see in this clip, she is taller than all the guys on the bowling team.
Based on watching her bowl, I mean, you know, the joke was she bowled like a girl. But
Well, we had our suspicions that
These guys did.
maybe Ned was gay or
everybody
something,
else.
you know?
This is actually true. I bowl a significant amount. And how women bowl and how men bowl is quite different because of our strength levels of how we can angle the ball. I've actually seen quite a bit of bowling in my time. So yeah, it's actually able to tell if you're a woman or a man by actually how you bowl.
really?
Yeah.
Everybody has their own style.
She was able to achieve something that is called click run. Click. She adopts the visual and behavioral cues associated with being a man, such as clothing, body language, and social interactions. This is masculinity, guys. The characteristics that are traditionally thought to be typical of or suitable for men. Run. Once she adopts the visual and behavioral cues or clicks associated with being a man, she engages in a sequence of behaviors that align with the stereotypical expectations of how a man might act in various situations. Consequently, men treat her as they would another man, recognizing the cues he presents. Once again, masculinity. Listen to this part of the book.
He was a hack writer's gift, a more complex character than I could ever have invented. But he wasn't just material for me, any more than I was just a freak show for him. The way he told it, it was like Ned and Norah became a hybrid. He still thought of me mostly as a guy, at least outwardly. But he knew that I was a woman and he reacted to me accordingly, with, that is, one rather large exception. He wasn't attracted to me.
Norah has always been a tomboy. That's why masculine behavior has always been part of her life. Combine that with her height, and it's not a surprise that most men will not be attracted to her because men in general are attracted to feminine women. Her masculine cues and behavior naturally turn men off. So for the guys who want to look more masculine, work on these masculine cues. Posture, body language, work out and broaden your shoulders. Grow facial hair.
The broadening of shoulders thing is huge. Once I started working out, my shoulders got a little bit more broader. I took up more space, and taking up more space is actually a good thing in most people's eyes. Like, especially when you're walking towards people, and then you know, some people cower in, and so people can walk across. No, don't cower in. Just stay open and just move to the side. I see a lot of people just like cower in like this, and it really shows you're not that masculine, and you're fearful of other people's space. Where no, it's your space that you need to control yourself.
Pay attention to your voice and wear clothes that complement your masculinity. Now, even though Norah was able to fool everybody into thinking she was a man, she was not a man.
Nope.
Because being a man is more profound than the exterior. Clothes don't make the man. This is the part that fascinated me the most about her experiment. Listen to this part of her book.
As you will see, being Ned was often an uncomfortable and alienating experience, and far from finding myself in him, I usually felt kept from myself in some elemental way. While living as Ned, I had to work hard to make myself do his work, to be him. It did not come naturally at all, and once he had served his purpose, I was happy to discard him.
Depression among women is at an all-time high. The same thing goes for women's decline in happiness since the 60s and 70s. It's not a coincidence because just like Norah, a lot of women have to work hard to make themselves do men's work, to be like men. It doesn't come naturally because women are biologically different. Many women express dissatisfaction with the current way of life in modern society. Unfortunately, they can't just discard it, much like Norah couldn't discard Ned.
Like a lot of these articles, headlines, women are more successful, they're doing better in life. Why are they even more sad and unhappy? We've been telling you guys this. Women are not built the same way as men. They're not built for the long hours of work. They're not built for the gruel of corporate world and, you know, manual labor. They're much happier, better suited to be at home taking care of the family. That's what they're good at.
Interestingly, this is something men seem to handle better, as Norah describes in her book.
None of them got much satisfaction from their jobs, nor did they expect any.
Exactly.
Work was just something they did for their families and for the few spare moments it afforded them in front of the football game on Sundays, or at the bowling alley on Mondays.
That I always put money as the most important thing in life, and it's not. It should be family, then money. Yeah.
Men have historically sacrificed for their families.
I 100% agree with that. Yes, I know you guys are gonna be like, not all families, but shut up sometimes, guys. Like, yes, the things I say may not apply to you, it may not apply to everything, but in my opinion, family is probably one of the biggest factors in most people's lives. It was probably the biggest support system in most people's lives too.
A trend that persists even as modern society becomes more individualistic. The birth rate is at an all-time low, and young men lack a sense of duty to work in jobs they aren't interested in because there's no family to take care of, and there's little appreciation for an average income or doing the quote-unquote dirty work, so to speak. This has led to millions of men dropping out of the workforce, leaving companies struggling to fill jobs.
and a week later checked into a hospital with severe depression. Identity, she concluded, was not something to play around with.
When you mess around with that, you really mess around with something that you need that helps you to.
I know I'm pausing a lot. Sorry, guys, but I think this is what issue with trans people. It is a very big problem. Your identity, how you feel about yourself, it is a huge problem. You need to talk it out. You need to understand yourself, not chop off things and take drugs to change yourself.
Function, and I found out that gender lives in your brain, and it's something much more than costume, and I really learned that the hard way.
This experiment led to high depression, and combined with the other challenges Norah endured from her additional experiments, she eventually chose assisted self-deletion in Switzerland.
The difficulty lay in the consequences of passing, and that I had not even considered. As I lived snippets of a male life, one part of my brain was duly taking notes and making observations, intellectualizing the raw material of Ned's experience, but another part of my brain, the subconscious part, was taking blows to the head, and eventually those injuries caught up with me. In that sense, I can say with relative surety that in the end I paid a higher emotional price for my circumstantial deceptions than any of my subjects did. And that is, I think, penalty enough for meddling.
Shout outs to Norah. May she rest in peace for doing this experiment and just speaking the truth. I don't think very many women would even have the balls, literally, to do something like this, to become a man just to see how men operate, how things is different for us, and to write a whole book about it. Wonderful journalist.
That was it. That was what had annoyed me so much about meeting their gaze as a woman, not the desire, if that was ever there, but the disrespect, the entitlement. It was rude, and it was meant to be rude, and seeing those guys looking away deferentially when they thought I was male, I could validate in retrospect the true hostility of their former stares.
From a young age, at home with fathers and brothers, guys learn that disrespecting another man can have serious consequences. This understanding instilled in our family dynamics becomes second nature, shaping the rules of the game even before we hit the playground. That's why communication is filtered among men. There's an awareness that signaling the wrong information can lead to problems. A man cannot get away with the disrespect some of these women have towards men. This is also a lesson women learn at a young age. Pushing, shoving, slapping, cursing, belittling men will not be retaliated with physicality or even jail time. And to take it a step further, a man is not seen or taken seriously as a victim of domestic violence. Listen to this part of Norah's book.
But that wasn't quite all there was to it. There was something more than respect being communicated in their averted gaze, something subtler, less direct. It was more like a disinclination to show disrespect. For them, to look away was to decline a challenge, to adhere to a code of behavior that kept the peace among human males in certain spheres just as surely as it kept the peace and the pecking order among male animals. To look another male in the eye and hold his gaze is to invite conflict, either.
Oh, I learned this when I was young. I used to have like this mad dog face everywhere, and I would stare people down. I wasn't doing it purposely. I was just how my personality was. And people would look at me scared. Tell you the truth, guys, I was not the greatest in high school. Yes, I was like a straight A student, perfect attendance, but outside of the classroom, I was actually one of the worst kids. I beat the crap out of a lot of kids. Never got in trouble because teachers thought I was a good kid. But all the other kids saw me, and when I looked at them directly in their eye, they would revert away immediately because they were scared. Trust me, a lot of kids came up to me like when I was graduating, before I graduated a little bit. It was like my senior year. They're like, dude, I really thought you were one of those kids that are going to shoot up the school. I've even in 11th grade, I'd had kids come up to me. I was like, me and you are okay, right? And I'm just like, huh? I was like, me and you are okay, right? And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, we're cool, right? Like, so if you were like to do something, like you wouldn't hurt me, right? And I was just like blown away by this thought process to just how I looked and how I carried myself and just how I just stared everybody down. I didn't do it purposely. It's just how I was, and I wasn't the happiest kid in high school. So
either that or a homosexual encounter. To look away is to accept the status quo, to leave each man to his tiny sphere of influence, the small buffer of pride and poise that surrounds and keeps him.
This is why Will Smith slapped Chris Rock and not Dave Chappelle. Any man with a little common sense will make an analysis of the situation before he decides to confront another man. Amber Heard was aware of her advantage when she verbally and physically abused Johnny Depp, because women aren't held to the same standards or expectations as men. Johnny Depp was considered guilty until proven innocent, a presumption that might not have been made if he had been in a fight with another man.
dude, this looks like old ass Nick Cage or something right over here.
The code of conduct for men implies different societal expectations for women, and the privileges women have are something that Norah Vincent experienced firsthand with her experiment. For the guys contemplating taking their talents overseas, stick to the universal code of conduct. Just because
Respect. I talk about it fucking all the time. Respect here is major. Respect in other countries is even worse. Like, you have to know what the fuck you're doing, and you have to be respectful, or else you will get put down.
Because you have dollars or euros does not mean you are exempt from disrespecting the code of conduct. There are cultural differences, but the foundation is the same. There are enough videos of password bros who got their wake-up call in foreign countries. The way guys avoid unnecessary conflicts smoothly flows into how they generally respect and support each other. Norah got a taste of this when she joined the bowling team, setting us up for chapter 3 in this presentation.
When this man whom I'd never met before shook my hand, he gave me something real. He included me. But most of the women I'd ever shaken hands with or even hugged had held something back, as if we were in constant competition with each other, or secretly suspicious, knowing it but not knowing it, and going through the motions all the same. In my view, bra burning hadn't changed that much.
This is a perfect opportunity to revisit a video we made 3 years ago. Check this out.
Why do women hate other women?
Why do women just want to bring their fellow women down?
So it all comes down to self-hatred, okay? Self-loathing.
And you know what? Girls can get really aggressive. Honestly, some of them are just like, I want to kill her.
Women compete over men, over job, over friendship, over attention, over just to be relevant.
It's crazy because men do the same thing.
You know, we're always trying to outdo ourselves.
I think that girls are dumb. We're completely unnecessary on all levels at any given time. And this isn't just girls, this is women. We refuse to leave the house without makeup on. We do ridiculous things for beauty, like bleaching facial hair.
Because we think they are prettier than us, and we do not like that. Hi! Oh, hi!
Hi, I'm Emily.
I'm Jess.
Hey.
How's it going?
Oh, you're really, really pretty.
Aw,
Aren't you?
thanks. How's your day going?
No, see you later.
And they're not joking. Like, you don't mess with that. I'm surrounded by girls all the time. I have lots of girlfriends. At work, there's heaps of girls, and it's always bitchy, catty, stupid fights about nothing.
Norah discovers that many actions of women are emotionally driven compared to men, often leading to conflicts among women solely to cater to their emotions. On the contrary, men share a better understanding, steering clear of unnecessary conflict, as it proves neither beneficial nor satisfying. Beating the game on easy...
I don't think I've ever really argued with my best friends. My best friend Chris and George. I can't even think of any type of argument or major discussions that we've had that we really butted heads. to where we wanted to talk shit on each other or anything. We've always been good ass friends.
Easy mode lacks the fulfillment we, as men, derive from genuine competition. Women may appreciate the prize, but they often shy away from the true essence of competition. The hard work to improve, the consistent effort for desired outcomes, the valuable lessons in losses, and the necessary sacrifices required to compete at a high level. As discussed in the previous chapter, women in general struggle with these situations, making them more susceptible to feelings of depression. Psychologists are aware of this phenomenon, which is why movies and commercials designed for women often avoid portraying scenarios where women face challenges or find things difficult to accomplish. That's why these female superhero movies suck. That's why men are these buffoons or evil, to make the female character look better. It's never the woman's fault. Accountability is kryptonite. At a certain point in Norah's book, she calls herself a misogynist, frustrated with female behavior because it was the men who were not judging her, gave her fair treatment, and genuinely tried to help her get better with bowling instead of using her lack of bowling skills as an opportunity to criticize her.
As men, they felt compelled to fix my ineptitude rather than be secretly happy about it and try to abet it under the table.
It's true. When I see George, I smack his belly. I'm like, yo, you need to get to the gym, fatty. Why? Because I care. I want him to genuinely get better. I want him to get healthier. I want him to lose some goddamn weight. Because he's my best friend. Like, we genuinely care about people around us and their well-being and how well they do. Women.
Which is what a lot of female athletes of my acquaintance would have done. I remember this from playing sports with and against women all my life. No fellow female athlete ever tried to help me with my game or give me tips.
Oof.
It was every woman for herself. It wasn't enough that you were successful. You wanted to see your sister failed. Girls can be a lot nastier than boys when it comes to someone who stands in the way of what they want. They know where to hit where it'll hurt the most, and their aim is laser precise.
This goes very deep. Norah's tennis coach reminded her of her father, whose approach to fatherhood had always been about giving helpful, concrete advice. It was how he showed his affection for his children. It was all bound up in a desire to see them do well.
Correct.
It's an indication why children, especially boys, turn out better with the father in the household. But as we explained in previous videos, daddy government not only benefits from single mothers running the household, but single women in general. Judges are incentivized to give custody to the mother instead of the father, even with proof the father could do a better job. So when it comes to love, it's men who truly love, who truly care about others. That's why we can love a woman who's broke and just...
I mean, that's why society's the way it is. People invent things to do things. Yes, they make inventions to make money, but a lot of inventions were created because they wanted to make the world better for others. And it's mostly men that created most of the inventions. Like, look at the washing machine. Look at all these inventions that we created for women specifically to make women's lives better. That didn't really affect us in a sense, other than our women is going to be less, active with a lot of these chore duties. Men sacrifice a lot for others. Look at the government. Look at our military. Look at every military in every country. Those men are the sacrifice.
Love her for who she is. We do a much better job accepting flaws. With women, it's about what you can provide, how you make her feel. That's why the sisterhood is keeping women single and miserable. Women are their own worst enemy. This is why it's important that you spend time with other men, guys. It's very important for your well-being. According to research, benefits of strong male friendship include a stronger immune system, the release of endorphins.
Oh, wow. 2 nights a week with the boys to stay healthy. I'm actually pretty healthy then. I hang out with George almost twice a week. We go to dinner twice a week-ish, maybe once a week. We try to do twice a week. I see my friend Chris maybe once or twice a month because he lives further out. But No, I feel this. I think since my mother has passed, it's been a little over a year now. I've hung out with George more. I've you know, we do dinners a lot more often and stuff, and it's really helped me not be so depressed, not be so in my mind about some of these things. It's enjoyable. It's always nice to hang out with your close friends. We don't even talk half the time. We just eat and fucking enjoy each other's company, and then we'll get some boba afterwards. I think it's wonderful.
Endorphins, an overall decrease in anxiety levels, and apparently even higher levels of generosity.
My supposedly subversive
shit.
lifestyle just didn't matter to them, or at least it didn't appear to, and this was the part I hadn't expected at all, or given them credit for in the beginning. I'd pegged them unfairly as potential thugs, and now they were showing me up as the judgmental one.
In our next video about Norah's experiment, we'll dive into the dating foolishness Norah encounters as Ned. Patreon supporters, salute!
Whew, shout outs to MHD, always doing wonderful videos. I will cover the second part of this video too. It was a wonderful, this series of Norah and just going over her book. I think it really helps us men out too. Please like, drop down below. I really appreciate that, and I'll catch you guys next time. Ciao.